Assalamu alaikum and Dzień dobry, everyone. Today's khutbah at Masjid An-Nur here in Des Moines was kind of a follow-up to last week's, but it focused on a lesson that we can learn from some of the ayat or verses in Surah Luqman. And it was about how Luqman told his son how to behave in the best way, how to live his life uprightly and to you know, always obey Allah, to not associate any others with him in worship, meaning only worship Allah and no other gods, no other people or anything like that, and to you know, you know, obey the messengers that were sent to give teachings to the people about worshiping Allah. And the Imam also talked about how we should take this a step further and you know, even at my age, I still would obey my mom in certain things. For instance, if I had the ability to do something that she needed to do that she couldn't do herself, but I had the ability to do it, then I would do it. Of course, if it means doing something that goes against Islam, then obviously I wouldn't do that. But it it's mainly for respect of your elders, respect for parents. Although I only have one parent left since I lost my dad a couple years ago. But anyway, it was also focusing on parents need to teach their kids how to live as a believing Muslim. Some kids today do not even know how to do the salat, how to pray in the way that Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him, taught the Muslims how to pray. And so the class I take with the kids here in Des Moines, I'm saying that. I'm saying that the teacher has to teach the kids who have been Muslim all their lives how to do just the basics of the salat and wudu and all that. But I say I've only been Muslim for 18 months. They should know more than I do. So the parents have to be more involved in their kids' Islamic education. They need to teach the kids how to pray, when they're young, how to show respect to other people, how to read the Qur'an and learn about the prophets and the Sahaba or companions of Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him. And so he said it's pretty sad that parents are just not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and then they wonder why the kids aren't acting like Muslims. So it's true in any religion. I mean, I grew up Catholic, so if I did not learn even the basics of the Catholic religion, I probably would have left that religion a long time ago. Before, instead of leaving it at 43. But you have to teach each other. I mean, adults can teach each other the deen. Even those who've been Muslim all their lives, they can still learn. We have to take charge of our lives. We have to learn about the deen. We have to teach it to future generations. Otherwise, they will be lost. And when it comes to Yom Al-Qiyamah, the day of judgment, they'll end up in Jahannam instead of Jannah. And we all want to go to Jannah, but we have to work for it. We have to teach the next generations how to work for it. It's not that easy, but yet it's not that hard. I mean, if I were to have a kid with my future husband, that would be something that I want to try to do with his help. And it takes both parents, if both parents are present with the kids. And he also talked about how, well, not directly related to this, but he also talked about how the husband is supposed to be kind of like, well, you could say the manager, so to speak, of the family, where he is supposed to pay for the household expenses. He is not supposed to make his wife contribute. He can, ask her to, be polite about it, be nice about it, or he can just allow her to do that. But even if she has a job that's better paying than his, he still has to support her. He still has to support the kids. It is his responsibility to pay the monthly bills, to make sure there's transportation. If they share a car, he has to pay the gas unless she's driving it and runs out and needs to fill up, then she would. But he would still have to maybe give her money to go get gas and whatever. But for my case, since I can't drive, my husband could, for example, buy my bus pass every month instead of me doing it. But the wife is supposed to take care of the husband, but yet not be burdened in doing so. She can work if she wants to. If the kids are in school, she does not have to stay home with them all the time. She could work to, build up her wealth, because in a proper Islamic marriage, whatever the wife earns, whether it be through any property that she rents out, or any wealth that she sells, or any earnings that she gets from a job, then that is totally hers. The husband cannot take that. She can give it to him freely if she wants, or if, for instance, say my husband has a job, but then he loses it either because of downsizing, or the company closes, or you know, or he becomes disabled, and as a result of an injury or illness and can't work, then I would step up. I would support him until he can get back to fulfilling his responsibility. But that does tie back to the lesson. I guess I haven't read the whole Surah Luqman, but there's probably something in there about how Luqman tells his son to behave in the right way to his wife whenever he would marry, and support the kids, and all that. So that's the father of the kids has to be ultimately responsible, and make sure that the family's needs are met, and the wife's needs are met. And if the wife chooses to stay home, that's and just be a stay-at-home mom until the kids are grown and whatever. you know the husband has to support her, has to buy her what she needs. If she needs to get some medicine for an illness, or after an injury, he has to provide it. If the kids get sick, he has to make sure that they get health care and all that. So and then he also went on to say that when it comes to teaching the deen to the next generation, if you do not do it yourself, you can't expect your kids to do it. He told a story about how a son went to a leader, a son of a certain man went to a leader of the area where he lived and complained about the father. And then the leader, asked the son about, why he wasn't obedient to his father. And then the son said something about, you know, he took a wife who was illiterate and didn't know squat, and gave and the father gave him a name that would resemble or represent an insect. So calling him a name which means some kind of a bug. And that was not acceptable, because we are told to give our children, good names that are respectable. For instance, around the local Muslims here in Des Moines, I used the name Aisha, which happens to be one of the wives of Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him. And some other kids have, let's say, the name of Khalid, which I think he was one of the Sahaba or companions. Or just name kids after prophets of the past, like Musa or Ibrahim, or some people have the name Isa, which is Jesus. Or you would not find that in a Christian church. People don't name their kids Jesus, except in Spanish-speaking countries they would name him Jesus, which is Spanish for Jesus. That's that, but elsewhere that's not common. But give kids a good name and pray for them to be good Muslims, and then teach them that. You have to do all of that, and then he said it starts with you. So if you teach them the deen, if you give them a good name, if you pray for them that they be and make sure that they are getting a good education, not just in the school, but in Islamic education. So that's all tied together, and that is a lesson from Luqman. So I hope this is of benefit to you all, and of course, as always, if I say anything wrong, it's totally my bad. I can't blame Mila. And anything good comes from Allah, because Allah is the source of all good. So thanks for watching. Assalamu alaikum, and do widzenia, and miasar Mila.